What's up, everybody? It's Saturday, April 11th. I'm going to try to tell this story very short. This is a true story. I didn't want to tell it while I was at work because I don't want to get in trouble, because this is actually involving the military base. Nothing secret that I know of from them, but yesterday morning I was heading to work and I wanted to tell this story yesterday, but I made the video, but because I was at work, I didn't really want to, take too much time telling the story. But I was on my way to work yesterday. It was like 5:45 in the morning. Maybe I was like 10 minutes out from my work. There's an old hospital, which used to be Madigan, but it's called the Annex now. It's 5 minutes away from the main hospital building. And then there's, across the street from the Annex, there's a playground, and then there's a few houses there, right? So while I'm trying to drive to work, before that, I go in through this gate, for people coming in from Spanaway. There's the Barnes Gate and the Logistics Gate. I come in from the Barnes Gate. So I'm about 10 minutes through this drive. It's mostly forest, not very... Oh, God, what are you doing, fam? Not very many, street lights. And let me tell you, man, and this is one of the freakiest things I've ever seen working at Fort McCord. It's gonna sound a little laughable, but it really freaks out my coworkers, but it's not fake, it's not a joke, this is something I've seen. And funny enough, my dash cam won't even let me view the video, so very weird on that, huh? I wish I could show the video, but can't even get it up on my dash cam, which I've been having problems with that all week. I don't know why. But anyway, so this is something that I saw only. I know there are things out there that we don't know of. There are legends. Bigfoot's a pretty big legend out here in Washington State, right? So I never expected to see something like this in Fort McCord. And yes, I never thought I was going to be one of those people who say they've saw a Yeti. But I've seen something in the woods. And my thing is not the only one. People have been seeing stuff at Fort McCord, Lewis, since the 70s, I guess. I looked it up to see if I was just like if this was not the first time, and it's not. Stuff has been said since the 70s. So I was driving to work. It was dark outside, but I seen it clear as day. I could still picture what it looks like. So, oh man, dude, clear as day. But this was no Bigfoot or Yeti that I've ever seen. First of all, this Yeti did not look like a gorilla, and whatever I saw did not look like a gorilla, a walking ape person. It was tall, but it didn't have a face. So like Slender Man doesn't have a face, it was kind of the same thing. What I saw did not have a face. So yeah, I'm randomly driving, and this lasted for like 10 seconds. I'm driving down the street. It's completely dark. It's just trees all over me. Or not all over me, but around me. And there's this thing standing in the middle of the road, of my lane, actually, not the middle of the road, but my lane. And it's just standing there. And it's pretty tall. It's like 7-8 feet tall, I'd assume. I was not at the distance to need a brake stop or anything like that. I was still like 20 seconds away, so it looked tall from a distance, but I don't want to say exactly how tall it was. But it looked like a tall, skinny person. Like a tall, skinny male. And this person was covered in brown fur, like the same color of a a dead Christmas tree, how it turns that brown color. Kind of looked like that. Had brown fur, like short fur, like all over its body, all over its face, but you could still see the head and the shoulders. Basically, to say exactly what it looked like, shape-wise, and the closest thing I could think of, this is going to sound ridiculous and kind of laughable, but it looked kind of like Cousin It from the Addams Family. Just without the hat, without the glasses, without the shoes. I didn't look at its feet to see if it was Bigfoot or not. I didn't get a chance to look. I just seen the whole body. I didn't see feet, legs. I didn't see arms. It was like its whole body was like a Dracula cape of fur. You know, where Dracula's cape covers the arms, the legs, you can't see his body, except for the head. But then again, everything was covered in hair. And this sucker was so fast. And this is why people think it's a ghillie suit, which I've never heard of a ghillie suit of brown fur. But I have heard people have bear costumes and weird costumes like that. But this person was fast. When I drove up to this person didn't run in the woods. This person walked in the woods. Like, extremely fast in the woods. And I couldn't contemplate if it was real or not what I saw. So I look in the woods. I'm looking in the woods. There's nothing there. So I'm like, whoa, what the shit? What was that? You know what I mean? So I was just like, whoa, you know, like, what in the world was that? Yeah, it was a tall, skinny, hairy figure standing. It looked like an animal, but it didn't look like a man. You know, it had the shape of a man, but it didn't look like a man. It looked like an animal. And I know it sounds crazy, but, you know, this was not something I'd randomly come up with and think of just to create a story to scare people and tell my coworkers. Like, this was not exactly something I'd randomly just think of. But, yeah, it was just so abrupt and out of nowhere, you know. So, it was just like... And I never have problems on that road. That road that I drive to work, I never seen anything there. I've never seen apparitions on that road until yesterday. I've had paranormal stuff happen to me before at working on the base before. I've seen stuff happen before, but they were only outside buildings. They weren't actually the hospital that I've seen things. It was mostly that building where they help with mental mind people, I think, who are, you know, help mentally. It's not a psych ward, and they help people who are injured, like a broken leg. They'll help physical training, like a PT. It was like a PT bunker, not a bunker, but a PT, small little PT building. You know, I worked there. You know, heard voices there. I've heard someone walking, doors closing, opening, sinks turning on and off. I've heard stuff, right? But yeah, man, you know, it was crazy. So, did I grab my wallet? I did. But yeah, so this was the first time I've seen anything on that base. So, yeah, I just wanted to tell that story. It really did happen. No bullshit. There's no bullshit behind it. It's not a joke. It sounds kind of ridiculous, I know. But I saw what I saw. And it looked pretty real to me. But I was contemplating if it was real or not. But it looked real. You know, I was fully awake. I was driving to work. And yeah, there was just something standing in the road. And then it just walked into the woods. It didn't even run. It didn't even run into the woods. It you know, like how people portray Bigfoot walking in the woods and you could see him walking or running in the woods and looking back. No, this thing was standing straight like a man, human imposter, looking at me. And it just walked in the woods like a person. And when I looked around at the trees, it was gone. So I don't know what it was, but hopefully I don't see it again. But you never know what's out there, man. You never know what's out there. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in God. I believe in that stuff. But you never know what type of stuff is in the woods, under the sea, in the mountains. You just never know, you know. But yeah, it was insane what I saw. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes. But I wasn't going to stop, wasn't going to say hi to it, I wasn't going to run it over. I wasn't gonna fucking try anything. Just get to work. That was my goal. I'll go to work. So, yeah, but it made Friday very interesting for sure. It made yesterday morning very interesting. So, yeah, I don't want to say I saw a Bigfoot or I saw a Yeti, but I saw something. I saw some kind of animalistic human creature thing. And, you know, because if you say I saw a Yeti, I saw Bigfoot, it sounds fucking ridiculous, honestly, if you say it like that. But I saw Sasquatch, the Fort McCord Sasquatch, you know, so. But anyway, I'm getting close to my friend's house. I'm going to give him a call to let him know I'm down the street. And y'all have a good weekend. I'm fine. I'm not afraid to go on that road. I have to go to and home that road every day. I will not show no fear or nothing like that. And yeah, you know, just, you know, because that's the way I go to work. That's the way I go home. So I have to go that way. But I can go around other ways. It's just, that's the shortest way to work, at least for me, that I'm used to, timing-wise, you know, so. But yeah, it's not going to stop me from going to work that way. It's going to get on my nerves. Rogers High School. It's been 6 years. In 2 more months, it'll be 6 years that I graduated at that high school. Also, I made a payment on my revolver yesterday. I have $213 left on it. But yeah, so just wanted to put that out there. I'm very close to paying it off. And shit like that is exactly why I wanted a 44 Magnum for, like, the mountains. Because Justin and I and other people like to go shooting up in the mountains. You never know what's up there. So, you know, it's mainly for that, but I just wanted a 44 Magnum just to take to the range. Out to the mountains, shoot, give it a try, you know. But, yeah, that's why I wanted a 44 Magnum. So, after seeing that, I'm actually kind of glad I got one. But, yeah. But anyway, y'all have a good one. Bye for now. And hope y'all enjoyed this story, because it was like right out of a Mr. Nightmare video. Or some shit like that. But anyway, see y'all later.